Today, I would like to introduce 5 predictions for the future of IT, which was recently released in Forrester's publication of CIO Dive, and explain how the CATO SESI is preparing for it. Forrester expects that companies' IT budget will grow by 6% in 2022. And they say it is a sign of a sustained company interest in tech acceleration. Advances in technology are also changes to be constantly expected by the IT leaders in their own works. There is an important shift to the goal of technology's advance here. While technology's advances in the past were centered on introducing more cloud services and solutions, it is becoming a center through today's technology's advances are aimed at clearing up complex IT infrastructure and enabling support for rapidly changing businesses that companies need. Passing through the pandemic, it became an opportunity to apply more active changes in IT functions. For example, hybrid workplaces have helped the business continuity, and expectation has grown that it will be helpful in the future. Of course, there were IT departments that focused only on the expansion of the existing VPN or VDI infrastructure, and there were IT departments that introduced new VDI services in a hurry, but suffered trial and error due to difficulties in acquiring technology. And there are some companies that have reviewed and introduced SESI for having innovation in this opportunity because more and more companies claim to be SESI vendors simply by joining with the SSE vendors and the SE1 vendors. By adopting SESI, there are many companies that, contrary to expectations, face more complex issues and operational situations than the existing infrastructure. Companies' adoption of SESI is growing rapidly, but it is also true that there is a lot of confusion. Anyway, in recent years, corporate IT departments have become more likely to have budget that allows them to do more. That means IT departments have more expectations and responsibility for advancing support for the business. Forrester forecasts the global economic growth and the industrial recovery will remain low in 2022, but technology budget will increase by 6% compared to 2021. We are talking about the continued acceleration of investment in digital transformation for company competitive power. Then, we'd like to summarize the direction that network and network security should go, focusing on the 5 things that Forrester has organized about what factors should be considered as budget increase for technology leadership, despite the difficult economic conditions of a company. The first is human-centered transformation. Office-centric IT role is disappearing, and companies want to connect with stakeholders, from employees to customers. Accordingly, leaders will direct the investment with humans in mind. Forrester expects that 10% of tech executives, those at the top-performing companies, will focus investment to human-centered tech initiatives at 3 times more than their competitors. Forrester notes that more and more leaders will use customer experience and employee experience as key investment drivers, and 10% executives are people who understand this and are already moving in that direction. Let's take a look at what Forrester's prospect means in terms of network and security. Companies have rapidly moved to the cloud and increased remote work for technology leadership. It is also true that pandemic has pulled in further. However, a company's competitiveness cannot be strengthened only by transforming to the cloud and increasing the number of remote workers. In order to increase the company's competitiveness, it is important that employees and partners who can be said to be the end customers of this IT infrastructure have actually improved their user experience because of these changes in IT. Users need to access various IT resources of the company for their work, and the connection performance need to be improved. However, Even though company users who have transformed to cloud and adopted SaaS have access resources from more convenient locations than before, network performance varies considerably depending on the user's location. This inconvenience has a direct negative impact on the productivity of employees and partners. Today, many people say that the internet has become a company network, but this claim is missing an important story. Because the internet has become a company network, the connection performance must be managed like MPLS used for Company One. Today, cloud providers are more aware that cloud connectivity performance issues are critical to company productivity. Therefore, cloud providers are proposing performance improvements through the additional network services provided by themselves, but they have a bigger problem in terms of access security that damages the autonomy of companies. SASE, announced by Gartner, deals with issues to solve user experience problems among the problems that are currently happening to companies. This is because it is a framework that can solve the network access security that companies want while improving user experience through network services. CATO SASE is designed to apply its own global backbone to not only connect to on-premises resources, but also connect to the cloud and the remote users to improve user experience. In addition, the G10E function provides the strong access security control that allows remote access to be the same as that of the office. CATO SASE is variable to improve the user experience that company IT leaders have been thinking about, not the introduction of SASE as a new trend. The second is to respond to the tech talent crunch. Forrester predicted that the crunch in securing tech talent for companies will move in more progressive. It is a phenomenon that has recently occurred in Korea as well. Companies are competing to recruit IT talent, and the IT labor market is experiencing very low levels of unemployment around the world. It is predicted that this will add a burden to the company struggling to attract and retain talent. To overcome this crunch, companies reported that it was making efforts to use cloud-first policies and platform-based architectures and adopt low-code, no-code solution in the future. When you think about it, many companies in Korea are already making efforts to solve the difficulties of securing technical talent. However, these efforts are often focused on cloud transformation. On the contrary, network and network security have become more complex and are experiencing a shortage of manpower. As it becomes difficult to recruit manpower in Korea, just as many American IT companies have moved their operation centers to India. Korea is also shifting operation to China and Vietnam, where wages are relatively cheap and manpower is easy to secure. Recently, a considerable number of companies are leaving to Kenya in Africa to find IT manpower. However, this would be a significant risk of losing control over the network and security of companies, because today's cybersecurity issues is also war between countries. CATO SASE can provide services by integrating both global network and network security with one vendor, and can be easily and quickly deployed through an already established global network. Operation can also secure all visibility and setting from a single console and can be verified. In becoming that, many companies are now able to operate with insufficient technical manpower. It has the value of providing solutions that can completely solve the difficulties of securing technical manpower in this field, which companies are experiencing today. Rather than relying on foreigners to manage security and network operations in Korea, it is better to resolve the shortage of technology manpower through CATO and leave it to Korean colleagues who understand the company's business well, will be the basis for protecting the company's assets. The third is worsening tech debt. Forrester says the pandemic has quickly moved employees' work to the new cloud and remote. Many companies thought this was the right direction and did so. However, companies have accumulated technical debt in the aftermath of this rapid transformation that began in 2020, and there are still many technical challenges left to adapt to ongoing changes. Forrester is predicting the rapid acceleration of technology will worsen IT infrastructure due to tech debt for 60% of companies. Forrester reports that many technological changes are not delivering long-term value. They are also not delivering value that is integrated across the company. Forester's warning about this is clear. Company IT leaders lack the technical skill to learn it, well compared to what has been pursued for digital leadership. As the pandemic eases, there is also temptation of technological backslide or going back to the old ways of thinking. We think it's a dangerous idea. We are also witnessing this movement in many companies. If we tell you one of the situations of a company we have witnessed, although complex cloud-based remote access system was introduced to have technical leadership. However, problems more frequently occurred due to the lack of technical skills to properly operate it. Eventually, the company made a decision to bring back its old VPN infrastructure, which had been discontinued. It retreated to 20 years ago. Remote access service based on CATO GTNA enhanced security, while at the same time there are more than 75 pubs around the world and they are connected through a global backbone, enhancing the connection performance between on-premises, cloud, and SaaS resources, and maximizing stability through self-healing architecture. In addition, it allows to easily set up connection to complex and diverse resources in one management UI, and pre-configure and use CATO's POP with its own designed global architecture. CATO SESI was designed and developed to solve companies' technical debt caused by rapid IT changes and has a clear difference from other SaaS first. CIOs face more revenue goals. The scope of the CIO role has steadily moved closer to the business and revenue to improve profit. Executives are demanding that the CIOs provide technology-driven business insight and tools for market gains. More and more companies are measuring the performance of CIOs' contribution, not just by projects they complete, but by tracking specific revenue streams. Forrester says 10% of tech executives will begin to have their performance evaluated based on their company's revenue. It is said that as this is part of the company's effort to integrate technology and business as much as possible, it will be demanded even stronger because it is starting to be believed that giving targets to their tech leaders as well as business leaders will drive more of that alignment. It means that where the technology side forces the business side to use it in a limited way, even if it is inconvenient as IT infrastructure was built like this in the past, is disappearing. IT leaders are now requested for these ways to improve the user experience and quickly adapt to business needs. Gone are the days when security was inconvenient. The time has come to find a way to make it as comfortable as possible and to strengthen security further. CATO, assessed since birth, that has been developed and served as a convergence of network service and network security can meet this need. It is much easier to develop than before, and users only have to press a large button for remote access, and authentication can use the cloud authentication they normally use. Even so, you can secure visibility and control of previous unsecured east-west traffic, while users can be comfortable and IT managers can provide stronger security can be said to be a technology that improves company productivity. This is the purpose of goal of using SASE. Finally, product transformation failures. Product modeling refers to the activity of integrating expressing a product in the computer to support digital applications for the product life cycle of design, production, and service. So far, product modeling has been used as an auxiliary means to assist the production of human products. However, as each stage of the product life cycle has been digitalized, automated, and intelligent, an integrated product model to support them has become necessary. This product model has become the standard for digital initiative. However, Forrester predicts that while a product model has become a trend that more than 40% of tech companies are trying to adopt, half of this attempt will fail product transformation due to rigid operating models. For the successful product model, it must not only produce excellent products, but also be able to provide them at prices acceptable to consumers through cooperation with numerous partners. For this, application that can be shared for the product life cycle between these entities, access to them and the security are required. We recently had an experience of configuring secure access to the production facilities of a semiconductor plant in Singapore through CATO. Yield management, which reduces the defect rate and produces good product in semiconductor production, is a very important task that directly affects productivity, profitability, and performance for semiconductor companies. To this end, coordination of equipment with the manufacturer of a production facility is essential. However, since security for semiconductor production facility is also very important fact, quite complex security equipment exists in the middle of the traffic. To this complex security system, the customer had frequently failures and bottlenecks, and accordingly it was difficult to collect, analyze, and adjust the production logs of equipment for smooth yield management with the manufacturer's engineers. CATO was able to provide security services that integrated complex IT security equipment into one, and along with the access management for users accessing from far away in Europe, fast access through network services through the global backbone. Through this, traffic that did not increase by even 10% of the allocated bandwidth can be used up to 80% of the bandwidth, providing a smooth and secure connection environment. As a result of this, massive logs on production facility equipment were immediately delivered to the vendor, and as analysis was performed in real time, the adjustment of equipment parameters between customer and the vendor engineer became smooth. The customer's yield began to rise naturally, and productivity and profitability began to recover rapidly. We will finish the video. A new business environment has launched, and accordingly many issues have arisen together. Digital transformation has accelerated because the IT infrastructure needs to be renewed to suit this new business environment. But it is also true that the changes have focused only on cloud transformation. Along with this cloud transformation, network and network security must also make corresponding changes to help companies secure and solidify their tech leadership. As CATO, which was born as SASE, is a SASE since birth, there is no shortage in providing a satisfactory solution to support this digital initiative. The fact that SASE can create the benefit delivered by SASE only when it is newly developed, not an upgraded version of the existing solution, is also the final answer for many companies using it.